Okay, so I'm finally doing the video where I show you how I do my backups. This is going to be a speed run. This was requested by Sean. So Sean, because this is a speed run, because there's a lot to cover, pay attention, look up the code if you're going to implement something similar. It's pretty easy to script, and the same for everyone else. Okay, so this is going to go pretty quick, hopefully. Otherwise, the video will go on forever. So let's just look at the screen. So I'm using Timeshift to do system backups. I'm using Rsync to do file system, or let's say my home directory backup, and I'm using crypt setup to encrypt the drive. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we need to update your system. So sudo pacman-syu. If you are using a different distribution with a different package manager than other than Arch, then obviously do what your distribution does. And then we need Timeshift, we need Rsync, and we need crypt setup. Spell it correctly. Okay, right. Then we want to have sudo privileges for our user. So sudo su. So we have that. Now I'm going to run a program called ttysh. This is the program that I made. It is not really for other people to use. I haven't configured it properly. I wouldn't waste your time. So it's best just to pay attention to what I'm doing, look up the code afterwards and make your own script if that is what you want to do. Or just take some inspiration from it, I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to run ttysh. And I'm going to run the program I made to do this, let's say. Okay, so I'm just inserted the USB key that I'm going to format. So this was before I inserted it. This is the hard drive, and now I've inserted it. It's showing up the USB key SDB. So that's correct, and it is SDB. Okay, so now we're in fdisk, the formatting utility, so I am going to delete the partitions. So those are deleted, or that is deleted, and I'm going to create a new partition. It's the primary one, the main one, the whole disk, basically, the whole of the USB key. Okay, and then we're going to write that. Okay, so that is now written to disk, so now we have a new SDB1 partition. So SDB1 is the name, and we are going to encrypt it, yes. Okay, so importantly, I now need to enter a password. Make sure you do this correctly. Okay, so that's going to start encrypting that. Should just take a moment. Speak amongst yourselves. So we're getting a whole encrypted drive here. Okay, so this is good practice. If you lose your USB key, like if you lost your phone, somebody turns on your phone, the phone doesn't unencrypt itself, basically, or it doesn't decrypt until a password's put in. You know, it's just good practice as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so now we've encrypted it, we need to actually open the new encrypted drive even. So I'm going to do that. Hopefully that's done it. Yeah, so what it's doing now is it's running the MKFS tool, I think, the make file system tools, because we need to put a file system on it to save our data. And this is going to be ext4, and it's doing it automatically, as you can see now. Again, this will take some moments, but some people want BTRFS, that's fine. I just think ext4 is rock solid, but some people want like literal snapshots, and butterfs, as they call it, can give you that, but you do you. So again, this will just take a few moments. Okay, that seems to be done. So what it's doing now is we have our SDB1 here. You see that? And this is a UUID. And this UUID is printed here because that is confirming that UUID is the one we want. important, don't obviously, well, hopefully you didn't do the wrong drive. Okay, so we know we've got the right UUID for SDB1. So this is correct, yes. Choose what the disk will be used for. So this one's going to be used for Timeshift, but if I was using it for my home directory backup, let's say my files, then I'd press F. Okay, so now that is done, I'm going to exit out of this. It's a little instruction. I've got to run Timeshift GTK. So the annoying thing with Timeshift is the first time you do your backup, or the first backup you do, has to be done through Timeshift GTK graphical interface using the wizard on this program. I would prefer to do everything through, as you know, the terminal, the TTY, let's say, but the first time you do it you can't, every time after you can. Anyway, so let's go into the wizard. Okay, so I'm having it as Rsync, and this is the disk, as you remember, under SDB1, our encrypted drive that's currently open. Now, I do not bother saving like .config files or whatever, just have exclude all files. This is just going to save your system files. Okay, next. Okay, finish. Okay, let's create. Okay, so that's going to do that. While it's doing that, I'm going to show the code, so to speak, the code. Okay, and see how hot this laptop's getting. Well, it's getting quite hot. Hopefully it doesn't shut down, because then the video is dead. Okay, so let's have a look at the code. I'm going to go to DI, and make this bigger. Nah, that's all right. So disk format is a function in the program that I made, and so basically don't worry about all this. This is just some check I've got, another function, and then as you remember, just case statements asking, confirming things, yes, yes. So that's LSBLK, that shows the drives, if you remember. Again, more case statements to confirm things. Then we take an input of, again, more read input. Actually, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. So fdisk here is the program that we use to format the disk. And then we did crypt setup, and this gives us the encrypted drive. So then we need to open the drive, then we need to give it a file system, mkfs.ext4, so an ext4 file system on the encrypted drive, sync it, close the drive, and then we get the UUID. What else have we got here? Just all the things you saw, really. So again, you can look at the code here, do whatever you want to do, and then that bit there. Okay, so while this is running, what else? So how do I actually do my regular backups, let's say? So obviously Timeshift is running now, but after Timeshift is done its backup, I need to have a second, sorry, my next backup is going to be on the TTY, and again this is all automated. So if it's for the file system, let's say for my home directories more accurately, or in this case for Timeshift, so I've got TI. So I've got a function called main Timeshift, and ignore all this, just lots of stuff going on here. So we start Timeshift, I think that's a function. Is that what we want? I think it is. Yeah, start Timeshift. Okay. So effectively the next time I run TTYSH, I'll run TI for my Timeshift backup, because I don't need to run the graphical user interface. And all this does is it will run a case statement, and I'll confirm some things, and then we crypt setup, open the drive, I'll have a check here, and then Timeshift is this command here, timeshift -- create -- snapshot device, etc. against the encrypted drive, and then that will create the next snapshot of my file system, and it will only save the changes from the previous one. And again, this can be all done from the TTY, and that's it. Then we finish that and it closes up or whatever. Okay, we close Timeshift. So what about file system backup? So the difference is Rsync can be run from the command line anytime. So if I had encrypted a drive with file sync, if I had encrypted the drive and designated it for backing up my home directory, then I wouldn't need to run Timeshift GTK. I will just be running Rsync. So let's have a look at that. So file backup is the function, and again, ignore all this. Ultimately what I'm doing here is opening the encrypted drive, and then I am mounting the drive. Now Timeshift will mount the drive automatically, but I'm mounting the drive here, and then I'm running rsync -av on the home directory, and then saving it to mounts where my unencrypted disk is mounted, and then deleting any of the. So again, like Timeshift, which uses Rsync in this case, it will just. I instruct it here to delete things that are no longer on a disk, because if you don't, it will save changes and keep all the stuff that. How to explain it? So it will save your changes that you've added, but it won't remove the changes that were there previously. Or let's say, if you delete a file, it won't delete the file. If you add a file, it will add the file. I hope that makes sense. How to explain that? I don't think I've explained that well. Why is that so difficult to explain? It won't delete files that have been deleted, basically. Let's actually go rsync. I'm not explaining that well. Delete. What do they call it? Delete extraneous files from the destination directory. There you go. So it's deleting stuff that is no longer there. Okay? Hope that makes sense. Well, how hot is this getting? Oh, not too bad. Anyway, that's what it says on the man page. So we'll go with that. So this is going to go on for a little bit longer. So what I might do is I might actually cut this bit out. So I'll let you know when it's done, and then we'll just finish up. Okay, so as you can see, we have the backup. That is Timeshift GTK all done now. So we are going to close this out. Okay, hopefully I'm doing this right. There we go, so that's saving that. Annoyingly, because I'm using i3, a window manager, it doesn't give you a button to close it out. I don't know. Right, so that's it really. What we need to do then is, if you run it again, like I explained, or well, if I was running it again obviously, but all I'm going to do now is I'm going to do TI. This is to do my regular backup. As you know, I will not have to open Timeshift GTK now. One last thing. The first time you will have to you have to close the encrypted drive, because Timeshift GTK isn't automated. So that's a good point to highlight to you. So I'm going to do crypt setup close drive, as it's called at the moment. So if I do lsblk, and it's not mounted obviously, so that is fine. So now I can run ttysh. There we go, that's correct. And now I'm going to enter the passphrase. And there you go. It's doing the next snapshot. As simple as that. So while it's doing that, I'm just going to leave it there. And so hope that helped. If you want to see a way of doing snapshots automated, there you go. That's how I do it. Whether it works for you, I don't know. So I'm going to give special thanks to Sean, HTX80Nerd, and Sol. These are my Patreons who support the channel. I would like more of you, so if you're interested, have a look at the description, and there's some information how to become a Patreon of the channel. You get some perks like having your name shown at the end of the video and early access to these videos. So how great is that? Anyway, I'll see you in the next one.